Hey, good evening and welcome to Streaming Bootcamp. I'm your host, Vic Senese. Nice to have you on board. If you're watching us live, you can see us live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, and StreamYard. All those things are broadcasting right now live and will also be available on demand so you can watch it anytime you want. So, decided to do an episode on something called the Stream Deck. Stream Deck is the controller that I can pretty much control the whole show by pushing these little buttons. If you don't know what Stream Deck is, you will know by the time we're done. So I'm going to go through some information about it. I think the best thing to do is let's just start out with a little intro to show you what exactly the Stream Deck is all about. That's what Stream Deck looks like, and I'm going to show you how I use it. Stream Deck is really versatile in doing a lot of things. One of the things it can do is run the show, and try to give you an example of how that works. I mean, it's probably a little harder to see, but these are buttons here that are set up to control different scenes across the show. So if I push this one, now you see that particular scene comes up, and then another scene showing up here. And then there we go back to our button scenes. If I want to take my name on and off, I can turn my name on and off with that N1. So all different ones. In StreamYard, I always get these confused when I got the two of them, but in StreamYard, I can go back and forth between scenes automatically with this button here. So I go here, and that's actually switching my scenes around. It's kind of interesting. So a great thing for the show, this is an automatic mute button if I wanted to mute. Hopefully I didn't just mute myself. So anyway, you can set these up any way you want, which is the kind of cool thing about it. And if you're running a one-man show, this is the best way to do that, is to have something like a Stream Deck. Now, that's one really great thing it does, but it does a lot more than just that. So I'm going to try to hopefully demonstrate those things for you. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and advance ourselves into this one where you can see me talking and you can see the Stream Deck, and hopefully you'll be able to see what's happening on the screen above me, which is going to be controlled by it. Now, one of the things that happens is you can set it up so that when you're on a certain program, like this right now is set for Chrome, the minute I hit Chrome, it automatically goes into this space. Now, I'm going to get out of Chrome here and just get into a blank screen. Hopefully you're seeing the Streaming Bootcamp up there. And if you notice that this has changed, now you can set up multiple screens. So there's other screens, but you can also set it up so that it does things depending on which screen you're pushing. Now, let's go into some of the stuff that I would possibly use. Maybe I want to go to a program like Facebook or to X, or I want to open my Keynote, or sometimes I just do something, and here's something called Euro Connect, where I post things. A quick, easy way to get from link to link in Safari. So you can set these up for different Safari things. You want to go to your Instagram page. There we go. You can see, it should be seeing that that's switching. And I just taking a quick peek here. Yep, that looks like it's working. So again, I mentioned your Facebook page if you want to switch between that. So each of these buttons can be set to do a different thing. Yeah, so that's kind of the basic sort of how it works. Just kind of showing you how the buttons control things and change different scenery. I'm going to switch over to the next scene, and it's going to talk to you more about how you actually would set those buttons up. I think that was kind of interesting. The most interesting thing was trying to figure out how to show this with my pushing the buttons and multiple camera angles. So hopefully I did a good job, but you can put that in the comments if I did or didn't. But anyway, and at the end of the show, if you're interested in purchasing a Stream Deck, you can go to our website, and I do have a link. Let me just show that right up here. So the website is rotkiv.net. That's victorbackwards.net. There is a Amazon affiliate link that'll take you right to the page that has the Stream Deck. So if you really say, wow, where can I get one? That's one of the ways you can get it. But hey, let's go into our next section here, and I'll show you how easy it is to set this. All right. So now I brought on so I know this is probably a weird view, seeing my hands and everything in here. I think I'm going to just bring this one up full screen. That might make more sense. You don't need to see me. So anyway, here are the different systems. And one of the things I can do is create a whole new key, and just gives me all these rows of things to do. Now I'm going to show you one of the things that I use it a lot for, and that's opening up a application, which is right here. So you can see if I take this open application, I can drag it to any spot just like that. Now you can call it something. Let's see. I'm going to open up an application. Let me figure out what app I want to open up. So any of your applications are showing up here, so you can open up any one of them you want. Let's see. Maybe I want to open up maps. Now, some of them, it actually has its own little icon. It'll create that for you. And it says if I long press it, it'll quit the application. That's kind of a nice thing to do. So I just created that. Let's add another one. Open an application. And it automatically labeled it maps. Let's see what other application I can come up with here. Here's a fun one. I don't know if you guys make your own QR codes, but I do. So QR Factory, that could be a nice one to have. And let's open an application again here. And you can put these wherever you want. It doesn't have to be right there. Again, we go here and look at here's one I've been using a little more of, the activity monitor. And you can see how it's really creating all these nice little icons for me. So let's see what happens when I go over to. All right, so let's go back to where we were talking about. We've been setting up our Stream Deck here, and now I'm going to show you how this works. So I've got this in view here. So if I hit this, it should open up that application. Beautiful. Look at that. That opened up my map application. This is my QR code one. I mean, this is really a time saver, folks, if you're trying to open up things quickly. And the activity monitor. So now here's something that's kind of interesting, and I'll show you how that works. But when I was doing this, and I have not done it before, but I realized there's an option for a long press to make these things close. So I'm going to try that. Look at that. I long press it. I long press it. It closed. I long pressed it. It closed. Wow. That is like super cool. And here it is right here. Long press quits the application. It could do nothing. It could force quit applications. That could also be something kind of a nice thing to have. Sometimes one of my programs in particular that I have a lot of issues with freezing up on me is Dreamweaver. So that could be a nice thing I might add to that. Now, there are other things that you can do. So if you're doing a lot of editing and you want to control, you want to copy something, you can use the Command V and Command C and Command X for your editing for cut, paste, and copy. But you can make that hotkey right here. So if we take this hotkey right here, and like I said, you can put it anywhere. And let's call this one cut. C-U-T. Helps if I could spell. I'm trying to work around a keyboard and keep this up here. And then, so click to assign the key. So Control Cut is Command X. So that's pretty cool. Now let's add another hotkey here. And I guess you can see where I'm going. Paste. Which is Command V. And I guess for completeness sake, let's go ahead and, oops, I don't want that. I made the wrong thing. I just go put that, replace it. Yeah, I'm sure I want to replace it. What are we missing? Can copy, C-O-P-Y. Which is Command C. So now I got cut, paste, and copy. And just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, let's open up an application that we can do that in, like our word processor. There's Pages. And you see it again, it automatically got the artwork. I'm going to show you something. Sometimes you can add artwork here too. It had legacy icons. So for cut, maybe it's got something that looks like scissors. Who knows? Oh, let's just put something in there for cut. Paste. Copy. That looks like something being copied, so we'll go with that. All right, so there's our keys. So now let's go ahead and open up our pages. And so here's our page document I'm working on. Now what I can do is say I want to cut that out. I don't want that there. I can go into the cut by just pushing that button. And you can see I've got this automatic thing that I use, but that's a different program. Maybe I want to copy this name. So we go into here and hit copy and go back up here and paste it. So there's cut, paste, quick buttons that we just created all by ourselves. And all right, so that kind of gave you a quick explanation of how you can set that up. It's really simple to set up, and it's got a lot of great uses. I noticed the one thing I was talking about, how you could long press it to quit a program. That's new. Actually, they updated the software, and I just recently made the update and didn't realize that happened. So it puts a little dot on the button when it's active, and then if you want to cancel it, you hold press it, and then the dot will disappear when the program's not open. That was kind of handy. So another thing I wanted to talk about is there are you can see there was only like 15 buttons on my unit that I have, but you have multiple pages you can use. You can set up a page so that when you open up a program, it'll create a whole nother page for you specific to what you're doing. That's what happens when I'm in Chrome, because that's when I'm controlling StreamYard. Now I'm going to show you how that looks, because I have a program that I open up called ScreenFlow. A lot of these things sound alike, but anyway, I use ScreenFlow to do editing, and I got all the editing tools I need to do really quick edits, and I'll show you how that works. One you want it to go to. Now here's a couple other cool things. So see, I can hit that. It'll bring up my ATEM controller so I can check and make sure that my sound is looking good. So again, I'm sharing a second screen, so I've got to kind of figure this stuff out on the fly. You can also have multiple screens, so you can see I'm going through other screens. And then I mentioned, here's one that I really use a lot of. And hopefully it'll bring it up in that. There we go. So you see, by pushing that ScreenFlow, which is my editing software, it brings this up here. And here's a new document. And I'm going to show you the real nice thing about this is it allows you to edit documents here. Now I'm going to find something I can edit here. Yeah, here we go. So this is just a little test thing, but I brought up something, a program that I might want to edit. And we'll bring it down here. This is the program. So you can just kind of see what it's doing. Now, here's the beauty. Because I'm using Stream Deck, I can use it as an editor. And you can see I can go in here and hit this, my mark in point. And maybe I want to cut out some of that because it's too long. So you can customize it to programs. So for different buttons to work off different programs. And you can see, so there we go. That's right about where I wanted to end that. So there's my end, and then automatically delete that part of the show out. Really fast, quick ways to do it. Sometimes you just want to use a razor blade to cut something out. So we'll get that over here. Razor blade that if I wanted to insert something or just wanted to slide that over so it did a fade instead. We can see how it did that fade. Again, these are all really cool things that are nice to do. And then the last thing that it does is it has this button here, which automatically lets me go ahead and create the new mix. So it automatically goes to this page, which is my saving file, name it what I want, where I want to save it, and then it'll actually export it. All done by the same, clicking of the same buttons. Really a big time saver. So I really use the heck out of the Stream Deck. I'm going to show you a little bit about configuring it here in a moment. So let me cancel this, and we're going to. So I already showed you how to configure it because I did these things ahead of time. I can see my hand got in the way a little bit, so I'm getting used to this, trying to use multiple camera angles. So we'll get it better as we go along. But I think it gives you a good idea of what this thing can do. Now, if you're interested in buying it, I can't say I don't recommend it. I use the heck out of it. Even just if you used it not for streaming, if you just use it for opening programs, it's just so much quicker to find stuff. I use it for that all the time. But anyway, here's a little bit of information about how you can go ahead and purchase it. So here's the Stream Deck on Amazon, one of the best places. You can see this little Stream Deck that I'm demonstrating, $64.99. For $65, you can make your life a lot easier. Now, this isn't Stream Deck. I just noticed that. I've never used this one. So obviously people are starting to, like everything else, duplicate it for fine. $65. Might be worth looking into, but here's the Elgato, the one I'm using, $119. I thought that's a lot cheaper. But I didn't even realize there's these knockoff ones. If you want a lot of buttons, the Elgato with the lots of buttons is there for $199. Gives you 32 buttons. But again, with the multiple pages, this one fits under my desk so well, as you could probably see if I bring that up into the. So if I bring that up, you can see kind of how it just sticks right down there where it's easy to use. Which kind of a nice feature of it. But you can see that thing, it really has a bunch of keys for $199. Again, I like how I can tuck mine in, so I like the smaller one. I got out of curiosity, see what this thing does. OBS, Twitch, YouTube, Streamlabs. Wow, I mean, it looks like they kind of copied the features of it. I don't know if it's going to be as full featured, but for half the price, it's probably worth a gamble. With Amazon, I don't know if they like me saying this, but if you try it and you don't like it, you can always send it back, right? Free delivery. They usually tell you that it's free returns. But I can tell you that I'm not here to push the generic knockoff. This is the one I bought. Best $119 I ever spent. I think I bought it during Black Friday, and so that was another bonus that I got it pretty cheap. But this is Stream Deck. If you haven't been using one, even if you're not doing what I'm doing right now, which is podcasting, just as a productivity tool for editors. Wow, I mean, you can set those keys up for whatever editing system you use. I like ScreenFlow. I also use things like GarageBand for audio editing, and I use Final Cut Pro for video editing with my Apple videos. All those things can be utilized using this little tool here. Yeah, so that's definitely what we're talking about. So I think that it's well worth investing in. I don't regret my investment. You can see I bought it back in 23, so I've been using this thing for a while. See, I'm trying to get my banner to just add banner. Oh well. There we go. So that's our website again, rotkiv.net. You can go and check it out. There's a link there. Or if you're on YouTube, I did put it into the description. There's a link to get you to it if you're dying to find it and don't want to have to hunt around. Hopefully this was something that was interesting and you found useful, because like I said, I used the heck out of mine. So I'm not regretting my purchase on it. As far as the other one goes, one of the things I was thinking about, and I do listen to a few programs, is they do talk about the fact that, Elgato's been doing this for a long time. The buttons have a nice feel to them. They feel like when you push it, it goes in. It's got a good feel to it. I don't know if the other one does or doesn't. I never tried it. So I'm, I sometimes it's worth buying the better bottles, but what can, like I said, you can always give it a try. So that's it for Stream Deck, and we'll see you next month for some more tips on what to do as far as keeping your streaming as best as possible. I think I'm going to talk about the Insta360. It's the video that I'm using right now, the camera. And I don't know if I talked about this before. I know I talked about cameras, but this is really kind of a nice camera. The big thing I want to talk about is how do you set it, because there's a lot you can do in the settings. So I'm going to bring that in and show you how you do some color corrections and stuff. I have 5 podcasts that I put on, and one of them I have a guest host, and he bought the camera, he's using it, and the problem is he wasn't using it right. And I said, you look almost, you're yellow all the time. Looks like you're having, a liver problem. And I said, we need to sit down and go through how to fix this. So I went through the settings with them, and now he looks a lot better. So anyway, we'll go over that next month. So join us next month for more at Bootcamp.